We have Miss Gabriela Gonzalez Escamilla. So she is going to present advanced growth hacking and predictive analytics. Speaker Gabriela has an international marketing degree, lived and worked for the last 5 years in Australia, Egypt, Thailand, US, and Brazil. Currently living in Mexico City as part of the international expansion team at RD Station. Passionate for inbound marketing, he has given on the last year's 20 plus workshops to SMBs and on Mexico spoke on plus 20 webinars and had the opportunity to speak in 10 international conference, inbound marketing summit, ROI summit and digital day conferences. He is helping companies grow their sales through our technology and with digital marketing. The last 2 years, he has been working for RD Station since the beginning of their international expansion, worked for the customer success team with the first customer in Latin America and Spain. She has also worked for the content and marketing team, being responsible for the creation and edition of the first Spanish blog, negotiate, and participating in events in Colombia and Brazil, actions and creating the first success story. To get to know more on strategies, we have Ms. Gabrila, International Marketing Manager, to tell us on advanced growth hacking and predictive analysis. Welcome, Ms. Gabrila.
Hi there, good morning. How are you?
Fine, how about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you guys
Thank
hear
you.
me?
Thanks for visiting GDMS 2.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to start sharing a little bit of my learning these past few years. So great. If you guys have any questions through the presentation, I think there's a space at the end, right? So thank you again. I'm here in Mexico City as you presented. For the last couple of years, I've been working in RD Station, that is an automation platform. So I've been learning a lot about digital marketing, how to get more results. So today I'm here to talk about growth hacking and predictive analytics. So this is me. If you guys, at the end, I'm going to share my email. If you want to keep talking about growth hacking or any digital marketing strategies, you can share a message. I'm going to talk a little bit about RD Station. This is our building in Brazil, our headquarters. It was born in 2011 with the main goal of helping any kind of company understand the benefits of digital marketing and getting real and permanent results. We know we live in a world that there's a lot of noise about what it is and what is not digital marketing. So I'm here to teach you and to share a little bit of what it really is and how you can share and get results in your company. So for the last 6 years, we've been working on, not just in Brazil. I got to the company 2 years ago, and when they were starting to expand their offices. So far we have 13,000 clients. We have around 400 clients just abroad outside of Brazil, in Mexico, Colombia, the US, in Egypt, in Australia. So we've been working a lot in expanding our office. We also work with digital marketing agencies. We have 1,500 partners, and we also have a really big event called the RD Summit, where once a year, it's a 3-day event where 8,000 people get together to learn about digital marketing and sales. So I wanted to start with predictive analysis and what it is, because before I start talking about it, I wanted to state what it is. And it's basically techniques from data mining, statistics, modeling, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to analyze the current data to make predictions about the future. So it's basically technology applied to different, you could say, methodologies in order to have a scalable and predictive model. So that's basically what it is. But also wanted to really get into a deep analysis about what is growth hacking. Yesterday I was in a discussion and people were asking, how do I how do I get to be a better growth hacker? How can I implement growth hacking in my company? And it's a lot of things. First, it's a methodology, but I wanted to first state what are the common doubts of growth hacking. So I wanted to ask you, is it a methodology? Is it a mindset? Is it a culture? Is it a team of specialists? What it really is growth hacking? Can I be a growth hacker? Can I implement it in my company if I'm really in a very new stage, like I have a lot of sales? Can I implement growth hacking? And you can see, and yesterday I was doing an experiment of what is growth hacking, even in English, in Spanish, and Portuguese, about what do people think is growth hacking. And I put these words because these are the most common things that that has been believed. And of course, the most common answer is that it's a methodology that people use when they work. But I wanted to add that it's not just another methodology, it's also a mindset in the company. So one of the most difficult things to work in a company or start a project is to be 100% digital, stop being or complement your work with traditional marketing, but also being digital is one of the hardest thing. It's a culture also because you also have to be always optimizing and growing and improving the results. And it's also a team of specialists. And I wanted to share the story of how 4 years ago we started doing a team of growth hackers. We had our own growth hacking team, and it was a team of specialists. And it wasn't just one profile. There was an email marketing guy, there was a paid media, there was social media optimization guy, there was a CRO. So there were a lot of different profiles that they were doing experiments and they were doing all these things to get better results. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that every company should have a team of growth hacking. Maybe it's not your time, or maybe you have to focus first on sales and generating leads and generating content in order to have this phase. Because most of the common questions are, can I have an area of growth hacking in my company right now? And I would say it depends on the objective, it depends on the situation of what your company is. So what I'm going to be doing in this presentation is I'm going to give you 5 very important points, and then I'm going to give you another 5 ideas of how to do growth hacking in your company, and then I'm going to give you tools, and I'm going to explain a little bit of what you have to do in your sales funnel to have a growth hacking strategy. Because when I talk about working with growth hacking, I'm not saying you have to have a team. You can have the mindset, you can have the culture, you can be, every time you do a campaign, a landing page. So I wanted to state this because this is one of the most common questions and sometimes myths. Growth hacking is not a miracle hack. So you can see in this image that if you do an experiment, if you do a test, if you do something related to a growth hacking strategy, you're not going to have a miraculous result like this. So you can see, like, you can have results, but you're not going to be like, oh, I made 100 sales if I was making 50 sales the previous month. That's not going to happen. And it's very important to have expectations aligned about growth hacking. Neither growth hacking or digital magic are, it's magic, it's not tricks. It's something you work every day. So this is what I wanted to show you. This is growth hacking. This is what you can have in your company. It's the sum of some, you can say, like, small exponential growth. So you can have every month a little bit of growth, and then by the time you have 6 months, a year, or even 2 years, you're gonna see the results. So this is what I wanted to say. This is not growth hacking. It's not a miracle hack. You're not gonna have exponential results in a month. It could happen, but it could be an exception. But it is the sum of efforts, of strategies, and being able to test, improve, and replicate everything. Okay, so the first 5 points I wanted to say is the first one: focus on efforts on the main problem or obstacles. So first thing you have to think and evaluate when you're in your company, You have to know what's the critical point on your operation. Where are you losing or missing your results? So, for example, having when you're in digital marketing, one of the first things that you have to do is to measure how many visitors you have on your website. So it's the traffic. So let's say, for example, my company has 2,000 visitors per month in a website. So I have a lot of traffic, but I'm not generating leads, I'm not generating contacts, I'm not generating a database. So that can be a first problem. This is my obstacle. I have a very good attraction strategy. I'm getting traffic, but I'm not converting. Let's say out of the 2,000 visitors, I'm getting 10 leads every week. So that's 40. So I'm having a conversion rate really low. So for example, we can focus on this and you can think, okay, so my website has this number of visitors. And then what's next? I need to convert them. I don't want them to leave them in being visitors and being strangers on my website. So this is one of the, you can say like thoughts, or you can say like a point when you can always start thinking like this. You can't start doing tests or experiments before you know or before you discover and you sit with your team saying, okay, what's my problem, what's my obstacle, what's not keeping us to make more money or more sales. Okay, so this is the first thing. And for that, you need to define the problem you need to solve, as I say. And I wanted to bring this example. This is a funnel we had around 2 or 3 years ago. So we had our sales funnel and we had our visitors. So we had like 70,000 visits, and then we had 12,000 leads, and then we had 200 opportunities, and then we had clients. So basically what we saw is that we had a good conversion rate from visitors to leads, to contacts, to people getting in touch with us. But from leads to opportunities, that is basically a lead that it's passed to our commercial team or sales team, was very low. So as you can see, from the visitors stage to the leads, that it's the contacts that are converting in some type of strategy that I have, landing page, a form, a chatbot, any type of conversion strategy. We had a really good conversion rate. It was 17%. And then when we passed from lead to opportunity, we had 2% of conversion rate. So it was really low. So we saw that we had a bottleneck in our sales funnel. So we realized, okay, so everything is working well, but from leads to opportunities, we're having a very low conversion rate. What can we do? So the first thing you have to notice is, what's your problem? Okay. So the second thing is to think on improvements for this focus and prioritize the best ideas. Because first, you need to have the problem. The second, you have to come up with a lot of ideas and improvements. And of course, everyone is going to have a lot of good ideas. There's never a bad idea, but you have to prioritize the best ideas. You have to accept that not every idea you're gonna have to work on, because you need to prioritize what's more important. So my tip for the second point is to study the problem, qualitative and quantitative analysis. And on our dissertation, when we work on this point, we have 3 criteria to prioritize. The first one is potential result. So you need to have like a prediction of what's going to be the result. For example, going back to the funnel. I have my visitors, I have my leads, I have my opportunities. So what's my potential result if I start focusing on the conversion rate? Well, my potential result is that my conversion rate is gonna start, it's gonna improve, it's gonna get a higher conversion rate. So that's an example of a potential result that I can have, which is good, because if I have more opportunities, I have more chances to close more sales. Second, the potential trust. It's very important for you to trust on the process, trust on what's happening. What you can't measure, and that's one of the first, you can say, rules for digital marketing, you have to measure everything. You have to measure your actions, your results, Because if you can't, then you can't really improve anything. So the potential trust is very, very important. And the implementation difficulty. If it's something that is very complicated, that it needs higher learnings, or you need to hire someone, then you're gonna have to analyze the cost and the result. So it's very important for you to never forget these three criteria for prioritization. For example, I'm going to give you a real example. We have a lot of landing pages. So we have around 4 landing pages, you can say new landing pages a month. So we have to check which one has the best performance. So one of the things that you can check in order to have the best performance, you can study what are the predominant channel. So for example, I can say one of the predominant channels that we have is paid media, and the second one is email marketing. So you can say, okay, this one had the best performance in which channels. It can be an organic, it can be indication, it can be Google Ads. So it's very important to check with your landing page which one has the best performance. And second, the layout content. So it's very important to be, okay, I have my landing page, I have my content, and what else? So what do I have to analyze? For example, when we started 2 years ago, we made this first landing page with an ebook about digital marketing, and it was very good. And then we started testing how was the landing page if we wrote ebook about inbound marketing. What do you guys think worked better? 2 years ago, with a concept that is rarely or barely new about inbound marketing, of course, the digital marketing ebook got far better results than inbound marketing. So it's very important to check that. So what are the changes that you can do? I already told you about you can analyze the landing pages that have the best performance. You can check what is the changes that are going to be low cost. For example, production, implementation, and benefit. So you can check, okay, how much is going to cost me if I change the subject on the landing page, or the title, or if I change the CTA at the end, am I going to have a better conversion rate? So it's very important. If I'm going to do a change, is it going to cost me money? Is it going to cost me time? And is the benefit going to be better, and it's going to have a better result compared to the effort I had with time and money? So very important to have this in mind, because at the end you want to get and you want to maximize the results, thinking about the lowest cost, the lowest price you can get. So very important to have that mindset. So the first thing that we said, it was to find the problem, to define the problem. And as we said at the second, thinking of improvements to have the best ideas and prioritize on how you're going to apply them. And the third one is to establish a simple process and apply it to your company. So what do I mean by this? Think on the cheapest, and I mean what I said, time and money, to prove the potential of this action. I'm going to give you a really important tip that I learned throughout the years, is think on how you can use 20% of your resources to get 80% of the results. For example, how you're going to get landing pages with more results. And I'm going to give you another example. I'm a company, and it's, for example, I work on fashion, and I sell shoes and sneakers. And I realized that one of my landing pages, the ones that exemplify or the ones that describes the benefits, gets more results. So why? I don't know why, but I can see that people are really worried about, for example, the type of shoe that they're wearing, if it's comfortable, if it's cheap, if it's close to where they live. So let's imagine that I realize that this landing page with benefits gets more results. What am I going to do? What are my options? Am I going to optimize other landing pages? Am I optimize other strategies to put the benefits, or I'm gonna start doing other tests with no benefits. So if I have a first insight of what's working with me, I need to replicate, I need to scale. For example, we discovered that when we put a picture of or related to our title, it gets more conversions. Or if I put a testimony of somebody who read it, it's gonna get more results. Or if my call to action is download this book or read this book, like a more imperative, it gets more results. So you have a lot of options, but you have to establish a simple process and apply it to your company. So it's very important to have this mindset. Fourth point, and almost the last one, is to guarantee the learning from failures and achievements. It's very easy for us or for one person to have this learning and then not share it with the company. So very important, whether you win or you lose, you need to understand why. Because if you win, it's great, you can document it, but you have to understand why you win. Why did that landing page work? Why did that campaign in email marketing work? Because if you don't know how it worked, then you're not going to be able to replicate and do it again. And it's the same with losing. If you lose, then you need to understand why. I'm going to give you an example of what happened 2.5 years ago. We were starting to test a newsletter email, and it was a mistake for me that I didn't put a call to action right, and it was getting to not the blog post but the whole blog. So that email was like a really bad click-through rate and very bad opening rate. And we learned that people weren't really interested in newsletters, and people weren't really interested in having all those type of contents in one email. They prefer to have, we can say like rich material. They prefer to have ebooks or webinars, and we learned that people didn't want to receive blog posts. So we kind of lost on that strategy, but we also learned that this is not the type of content that they want. So it's very, very good. It's not bad or good that you win or lose, because at the end, around 50% of the experiments made in the whole world, they fail. But if they fail, you need to understand why. As I said yesterday in the discussion, digital marketing, it's all about testing and what's working, what's not working, and if it's not working, don't do it again. What's working, replicate and adapt. So it's very important to have that mindset. And for example, when you're working, and I'm using the same example to have like a storytelling of this, if you have this landing page and you're improving it, the short-term results are better than medium and long results. So I know this contradicts a lot with planning and objectives of the company, but when you're doing experiments in growth hacking and when you're having this kind of mindset and methodology, the results have to be in the short term. You can see, and I remember with our growth team the last year that I always used to go to their presentation. They were like, this month we made this, and this month were the results, and we improved, and some things got worse. So it was very important to have like a monthly check or analysis, because as I said, the short-term results are better than medium and long results. Okay. Fifth point, and the last one, working with growth hacking. Use these learnings to generate new tests. So it's very important. If I learned that my landing page talking about the benefits of shoes or working with this type of products, you need to understand that you need to replicate. You don't need to do more tests. If you see that this works on this landing page, the new strategies, the new marketing actions are going to be including this. Okay, so it's very important first to register and organize learnings for the company. It's very important. The learning is not for an individual person, it's for the whole company. So a learning that you can have about an email marketing campaign, about a new behavior that you didn't know, it can help maybe the customer support team or the sales team. So very important for you. You can document, you can make a presentation. One of the things that we do sometimes is that we do like a YouTube broadcast for the whole company to share our learnings. and this is a way to scale the learnings in your company. The second thing is to propose new experiments, knowing better the consumer behavior. So now that you start doing your test, you're not going to get worse at something you start doing more frequently. You're just going to learn. So proposing new experiments, it means that you're going to know better how your lead, your client, your partner behaves. So very important. And some examples of what you can do is improve your call to actions. As I said, it's very important. It's very different if I put in my call to action, watch a webinar, then another is to subscribe. So it's very different how you call the people. And of course, the second one is to improve the landing pages. As I said, if I learn, and this was a learning we had 2 years ago, we had an ebook talking about SEO, and we learned if we only put in the title 28 tips about SEO and instead putting ebook about 28 tips of SEO, it worked better without putting the word ebook. So we started doing this kind of test of how people were converting better, and this type of text takes time and it's not that difficult. And if you think about it, Gabriela, changing the title or changing a word, it's not going to cost me anything. It's not going to cost me time, it's not going to cost me money, but you have to think. And I'm not saying you have to change 5 to 6 things at the same time. Change one, change the color of your call to action, change the layout of your landing page, or a word. It can improve better. I have this joke that I always say in my workshops and conferences, that sometimes the worst landing page is the one that gets the higher conversion rates. And it's not my favorite, and it's the one that works. So it's not something that I'm saying it's a pretty landing page and it has everything you need. No, it's about the experience and the user experience that people have. So think about that. Okay, so these were the 5 main points of working with growth hacking, and people that have worked with growth hacking and haven't, I wanted to give this context before going too deep. So another question that you may have is, where can I start my growth hacking strategy? It's a very important question. And I'm going to give you 3 things that are very important. The first one is to diagnose, the second is to evaluate, and the third one to prioritize. So you're probably wondering, Gabby, how do I do a diagnostic about my marketing actions, my campaigns? How do I really know if this is an investment? Most people think that digital marketing is a cost, not an investment. And what I always talk about is that when you work with digital marketing or with growth hacking, is to basically simplify all the customer journey, because everyone passes from a customer journey. This phase is that a visitor starts this journey and then ends in a client. So basically what we want to do as digital marketers, as growth hackers, is to simplify and get, and if for example, I'm a company and my sales cycle, it's around 15 days. With my digital marketing strategies, I want to reduce it to 7 days or 5 days. So this is what we really work. We work on educating the people for them to not have a big gap for sales cycle, whether you're a service, whether you're a product, whether you're a hotel, an e-commerce. It's very important to think and have this kind of mindset. So I'm going to start. This is the sales funnel, so I'm pretty sure people know it, but I'm going to explain it in case you don't know it. So we basically work with this inbound marketing methodology, and I'm going to try to explain, and I'm gonna give you a lot of tips of how you can make your first diagnosis before working with growth hacking. It's very important for you to know how are you with your marketing strategy right now. I cannot tell you to start doing growth hacking. I cannot tell you how we're gonna do this test and improve and get results if you're not aware of where you are in your marketing attraction plan. Okay, so this is the sales funnel. We basically divide it in phases. So we have attraction, we have conversion, we have nurturing, we have selling, and we have analyze. So I'm going to talk about first the attraction. So What's the main point on this phase? Is to attract more visitors on your website. So before you start doing growth hacking, this is the first things that you have to question yourself about your digital team and about your digital action. The first one is SEO. Are you covering all your keywords that your buyer personas research about the problem that you solve? It's very important. Now there's a lot of tools. You can use Google Keyword, you can use SEMrush, you can use Answer the Question for you to know what people are searching on your market and how you can use those words to get discovered, to get known. At the end, we have to accept that in Google, 97% of the searches start there. So we want to be found. We want that when people type, I don't know, balloons, I want to be found. Or if I type computers, I want to be found. So very important to have covered all the keywords. Second very important point, content. Do you have a calendar? Are you producing content in your company? Are you having a blog? Are you doing webinars? Are you doing ebooks? Are you doing infographics? Do you have a calendar for this quarter, or do you have a calendar every month and you have everything planned that you can say, okay, I have a content strategy? The third thing, paid media. It's I think it's one of the most asked questions in Mexico, and I think everywhere around the world. Do I need a budget for paid media? Do I actually need it in my strategy, in my work? So I'm gonna tell you that I think a couple of years ago, it was very easy to get reach and to get leads because it wasn't as hard as it is now to work on organic. So if you want short-term results, you need to invest on paid media. So what I'm gonna ask and what you have to analyze before working with growth hacking is, do you attract quality traffic in your business through Google Ads and Facebook Ads? And I'm stating just one of the examples of paid media. There's Spotify ads and Waze ads and LinkedIn ads. But are you attracting quality traffic when you're doing this kind of strategies, or are you just attracting likes and shares? Because I'm gonna be really honest, when you attract this type of metrics and measurements, it's just visitors. You're not really knowing who they are, so you have to focus on attracting quality traffic. The fourth one is social media. Do you have a consistent calendar of your publications? What we used to do is we have an Excel sheet, and basically we do, or either a productivity tool, to have a calendar of what am I going to publish. I'm going to publish 3 times a day. I'm going to publish 6 times a week. Very, very important to have a consistent calendar. And the last one that's very important for your attraction strategy is co-marketing. So are you doing content partnerships and collaborations with influencers? One of the things that we started doing 2.5 years ago in the company, we basically got there when we had to create a new company in Spanish for the Latin American market. So we said, well, we have no database. We have like 10 clients. So what are we going to do? We started looking for partnerships. So if I was a digital marketing platform, who can I partner up? So we found in Colombia that there was a company really focused on social media. So we said, okay, so let's write this ebook about the first things you need to know about social media. And we did this collaboration, and it worked out really well because they shared it with their database, and we shared it with we didn't have a database at that time, but we invested on paid media. So we started little by little, step by step, month by month, starting to create our own database that I can tell you 2.5 years ago we had 0 leads. Right now, we just checked yesterday, we have 100,000 people that are subscribed to our content, that are subscribed to our blog. So it's really important, if it makes sense, to complement your strategy. I can tell you, for example, yesterday I was giving a mentoring to Endeavor. Endeavor is It's an NGO that works with entrepreneurs. So they use our software, and they were telling me how they have a content strategy where they have webinars with their entrepreneurs. It's a collaboration, a different collaboration. For example, if they want to talk about artificial intelligence, or if they want to talk about chatbots, they invite their entrepreneurs or they invite an expert and they do a partnership. They're not the experts and they know, but they know because they have the contacts that are experts. So they're doing these partnerships and collaborations, and it's working for one of the objectives, that is to get positioned as one of the world's largest network of entrepreneurs. So they're giving out content, they're positioning themselves as with these topics that are right now the most, you can say, looked and researched. So this is an example of the type of partnerships that you can do. So what else you can ask, Gabriela? Now I attract my visitors, I can do a full analysis of what can I do with my marketing strategy, what's next. So you have to do another analysis, the conversion analysis. So before you work, and very important, to be able to work with a growth hacking strategy, you have to think in what's next, not just visitors. So conversion is about converting the visitor to lead. And this is the main goal, and it's very related to growth hacking, improving the conversion rate. That's one of the most basic tests that you can do. First one to think about is the CTAs and forms on the blog and websites. If you have a blog or if you're writing content, do they have a call to action at the end? Very, very important. If I'm doing content, if I'm educating my market, am I directing it to something? For example, I'm going to give you an example that I did a month ago. I wrote a blog post about, it's kind of like the Black Friday in Mexico. But when I wrote the blog post, at the end said, so if you want to know a little bit better, or if you want to know more about this topic, we recorded this webinar. And the call to action was to see the webinar. So this is an example of a call to action. If you're doing content, it's not just doing content, because you need to have a call to action and you need to guide the visitor or the lead of what you want. Okay? So the second thing, pop-ups. Do you know how to use them without compromising the user experience? And it's very important. I'm going to give you an example. Right now, around 300, 400 leads that we get a month are through pop-ups. So you have to learn how to not be compromising their experience. Is it a small pop-up on the left corner, on the bottom of your website, or on the left? Is it really about something that they want to learn? So for example, when we were doing, last month in June, we had an event. So we had a small pop-up saying, if you want to go to an event, subscribe to this, and we're gonna share you everything about this event. That made sense. So for example, this was an example of a pop-up that it wasn't really permanent, it was just for a couple of months, but it made sense. If you are reading about digital marketing or how to improve your sales, if you see a pop-up about an event that it's coming, then maybe you'll be interested. It's a different type of investment of education. So this is an example that you need to analyze. The third thing, landing pages and thank you pages. So what you basically have to do in your company is to invest in landing pages. So if you don't know what landing pages are, it's basically a site that you can do. There's a lot of tools that you can even there's free tools to do it, but you can pay. There's one like you can pay $40, $50 to create landing pages, and you can start capturing your leads. This is a conversion strategy. So what you can do, and this is a strategy that we do and our clients do, after somebody converts in the landing page, you can create a thank you page that is basically another page that says thank you for downloading my ebook, or thank you for watching our webinar, or thank you for subscribing to my newsletter. And then on that same thank you page, you can put on content on the bottom to increase your conversion. So it can be visit my website, or learn about another content that I have. For example, I can give you an example of a client I used to have a year ago. He made a landing page about digital transformation, and after you converted, in the thank you page they said thank you for downloading this type of ebook, but at the bottom they said learn about these tips to optimize my website. So it was really good because it was related, people could get interested, and you can optimize and improve your conversion rate. So this is an example of what you can do. And the last one for you to analyze your conversion strategies is the lead ads. You can capture leads with Facebook ads, and you can go directly, and you can integrate with any platform that you do, and you can improve the conversion rate. Okay, so what is the third thing that we need to do in our sales funnel? We have learned about what we need to do when we attract, the second when we convert, and the third is to nurture. So basically is to educate through channels like email marketing. So the objective on this phase is the lead has to convert into opportunity. And as I said before, when you want to convert a lead to opportunity, you have to do certain criteria or certain actions for you to analyze if these leads can pass to an opportunity. It could be an example, what is the job that this person or this lead has, if it's a director, if it's a manager, if it's a student. So you have to talk to your sales team. What are what are the things that help you realize, or it can help you sell more if I help you. So for example, in our station, one of the sales things that, well, they basically told us is that it's very important for them to, like, if I want to talk to a lead, it's very important to have their website, because when I have my website, there's free tools that I can monitor, or I can measure how many visitors do they have. So this is one example that our sales team used to say, and now every landing page that we have, we ask for a website. And this is something that we do to filter people. And I get a lot of messages like, what if I don't have a website? And then I think you can put your Facebook page, it's okay. But what we want is to filter people so that we can educate them to convert them in clients. So what is the first tip that I give you when you're analyzing your nurturing or your closing strategy? First one is your email marketing. You can send emails with bottom of funnel content. So if you ask me, Gabby, what is bottom of funnel content? And I'm gonna give you 3 tips. So first, as you have a sales funnel, you also have a marketing funnel about content, and you have top of funnel, which is content that generates this interest. So I can give you an example. Our ebook about digital marketing, it doesn't talk about our platform. It doesn't talk about automation, about software. It just talks about something that people are wanting to learn. So you can say it like TOEFL or top of funnel. And then we have middle of funnel, which is MOFU. And this is the type of content or the type of phase that you want to build trust with the people. So what is an example of this type of content? And I'm going to be really simple. We realized that when people start doing content, they needed a calendar, but we didn't know that they didn't know how to make a calendar. So what we did is we did a presentation, like a spreadsheet with the basic things that we used to organize our content, and then we put it in a landing page and we shared it, and people loved it because it's a free tool that you can use. You can download it for free and you can use it daily. So what I'm doing, and if you start thinking about, okay, so I already, you can say, we're building trust with the first content. The second one is people start doing or having us on their top of mind. And the third one is bottom of funnel, where you can be a little bit more direct, and I can even say like aggressive. For example, you can do a free test about your product, you can do a free demo of your technology, you can do a budget. So there's people that if they're, for example, if you work with lawyers, you can do a landing page saying, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes with my consultants to have a free session. So that doesn't cost you anything, and you can risk and you can say you have an opportunity to talk to somebody that is more qualified than if you talk to somebody on a cold call with no interest in you. So very important to have this in mind. Send emails with this type of content. And the second one, the customer journey. Everybody has a customer journey. So what am I gonna ask? Do you use the content for all of these stages? Do you use just content at the end when they're evaluating and almost buying? Or do you use content at the beginning to educate? It's very easy to say that people are not ready for my product. People are not ready for my service, for my type of company. It's very complex. And it happens to me and it happens to 10 million companies. So what you have to do, what is your job? You have to educate your market, okay? So you have to have this type of actions and strategies for you to start educating, for them to get prepared to be your clients, okay? The third point that I wanted to say is automation. You can automate right now content campaigns, lead scoring to send them to the sales team. So now we have technology and we have certain platforms and we have different tools to automate your campaigns. You can have MailChimp if you want email marketing. You can have ArtStation if you want the whole inbound process to use. But there's a lot of tools that you can automate, either publishing your social media. It can be your email marketing, and you can do automation flows for you to be working on and stop doing manually things. So it's very easy for you to say, okay, so I have 500 leads. I have a database that is 1,000 emails. I'm gonna send them an email manually about a discount or about a showroom that I'm gonna have. I can tell you, well, you can do it. But now we have technology that we can segment and we can improve and we can redirect an email campaign for them to receive something that they want at their time. Okay? And the last one is paid media. So as you know, there's different type of paid media. When you compare Facebook with Google AdWords is the type of platform that you get there because you're looking for something. So let's go for an example. If you if you sell books, people that convert on your Google AdWords strategy are gonna be more interested than the ones in Facebook. Okay, the difference is that probably it's gonna cost you more, and on Facebook it's gonna be a little bit cheaper and you're gonna get more volume. But the thing is, are you generating opportunities? We call them, when we generate opportunities through Google AdWords, it's called a hand raise, because people are actually looking for you. You're not looking for them. Okay, so what's next? We need to think about, okay, we have this relationship, we have to sell. Okay, so what's basically what we want? We want to convert these opportunities to clients. We already passed the visitors, leads, opportunities, and now we want to sell. If you're here, you probably want to improve your sales, because I want it as much as you do on this year. And what we want is to be growing monthly. So first thing you have to analyze, it's a sales model. Is your process defined by stages with triggers and lost? This is the time that you talk with your salespeople, your salesmen, and you're gonna be, okay, so when you have and you receive this lead, what happens? Are you gonna call them? Are you gonna send them an email? Are you gonna do a previous analysis? What are the triggers that you have for you to call them? And what happens if this person is not in the time to buy? What happens? Are you gonna just stop calling them because you realize that they don't have the money or they don't have the profile? Or are you gonna send them an email for them to keep educating themselves? Maybe you can send them an ebook, a webinar for them to improve. Because at the end, we don't want to sell to everyone. This is a very important thing to think. There's a lot of people that tell me, but I want to sell to everyone. And then I say, well, this is what happens when we have bad clients. When they buy me, they convert to my clients, and then if they're not ready, they're gonna be the ones that give you a headache, basically. They're not going to be the ones that pay you. They're going to be the ones that probably are talking bad about you. So it's very important to have this in mind. Second thing, lead scoring. Do you have the criteria for the leads converting to opportunities? So what are the things that if I have a lead, how can I convert it to opportunity? Does it have to be a director? Does it have to be a medium company? Do they have to be having this type of budget for them to buy your product? For example, one of the things that we asked is how many years does the company have? Because that way we know and we can predict if they have certain revenue model. It's very different to close with a company that has 6 months working on the market than the one that has 3 years. It's a very different maturity. The third thing is the SLA. So the sales level agreement is this agreement that you have with sales and marketing for opportunities to turn into customers. So if I have this lead, they're a medium company, they're looking for a platform, they have a problem with their email marketing, and I have a functionality that is going to help them, can I send them to the sales team? Do they have the basic criteria that the sales team need? Do I have their website? Do I have how many years on the market do they have? Do I know the decision maker? So these are the things that you need to talk with your sales team or your marketing team before having this type of action, okay? So this is, and I want to tell you why I brought you these things. It's very important for you before doing growth hacking, before doing experiments, for you to make a basic diagnosis of what your marketing status is, of how you are in your company regarding to marketing. So before talking about everything you can do in growth hacking and all the advanced things you can do with analysis, you need to know how you are right now. Because if you don't know how you are right now, you're not going to be able to improve. You're not going to be able to do further things, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to share when you're doing your growth hacking strategy, these are all free tools. First one is analytics. You have to always think about metrics and measure every day your campaigns, your landing page, all of these strategies that you do. So 2 tools that you can use is Mixpanel and Google Analytics. They're both free, and you can test either your visitors on your website, the people that are getting to your website, the profile, the conversion rate. If you're having a blog, how many visitors does this article have? So it's very, very complete tool for you to do analytics. The second thing is pop-up. Don't forget about the pop-ups. Either one of your conversion strategy is very, very important. As I said, you don't want to leave your strategy with visitors, with traffic. You need to convert them. So look for this tool. Is called OptiMonster. This is the one that we use to create our pop-ups, but it's very important to have this strategy. The third one is to do A/B testing, and you can use Optimizely for this type of test. And basically what A/B testing is, as the word says, is doing tests either with your email, either with your landing page. You can duplicate your landing page, you can duplicate your campaign, and you can send them. For example, if I think about an email marketing, I can change the subject. For example, it's very different if I send an ebook, let's say, or let's forget about the ebook. Let's say I'm going to send a quiz. So I'm going to be, how's your social media? And I can do an A/B testing if I send it to small and medium companies. And the second email goes to agencies saying, how's your social media strategy for agencies? That type of test, being a little bit more personal, can change it cannot even change, it can improve your conversion rate because you're getting a more personal action. So it's very important to do this type of A/B testing. And the last tool that I'm going to give you, and it's a recommendation that we use, it's for understanding the behavior of the visitor, and it's called Inspectlet. So you can basically see how the visitor behaves if they spend too much time on the landing page. For example, we used to realize, and we discovered that one of our landing pages, people used to spend 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is a lot of time. So what did we realize? That the forms and the type of question that we asked were really complicated, were not basic. So we changed the forms. And how did we discover that? With tools that were able to tell us how much time were people spending, and if they were like scrolling down, or if they were keeping their time or staying at the top. So it's very important for you to measure this type of actions. And for the last thing about my presentation, I know it's already an hour, but there's so many things that I wanted to share for you to apply to your company. So this is very easy how you can do growth hacking in 5 steps. The first thing is to have an idea, brainstorming to discover problems and opportunity. So you can basically sit down with your team. It doesn't have to be only the marketing team. It can be your customer support, it can be sales, it can be operations, it can be the finance team, it can be the CEO and the co-founders. And you can brainstorm about your problems and opportunities, because this way you're going to have a 360 vision about what's happening and what can you improve. And so talk about what if you're not getting enough leads for the sales team, or your budget for paid media is not getting as much as leads as you should, or maybe you need to invest on education for your analyst on marketing or on sales. So definitely you have to sit down with your team to discover this problem. Second one is to model. So you have to define the hypothesis of this experiment. So as we used to do on school, or as we're doing and we're working, you need to define this hypothesis. So for example, if I change the title of the email, it's going to improve 2% of my opening rate or my click rate. So you have to define a hypothesis, because at the end, when you do the experiment, you're going to know if you did right or if you did wrong. So idea, brainstorming. Second, model, define the hypothesis. Third, test. So you have to plan the steps, you have to set up the experiment, you have to analyze the results. So what am I going to do? So first thing, I'm going to analyze the landing page that I have, and then I'm going to change the title, I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to run it for 3 weeks. And then I'm going to analyze the results, if that changed my numbers, if I made some improvements in my strategy. Fourth, the results. Check if the results validate the hypothesis. So as I said, you have to have the hypothesis. If the results validate, if you were correct or were wrong, you need to know and validate. And of course, the thing that I said at the beginning, document the learnings. Very, very important for you to document the learnings that you have. Even if they're not good learnings, like what you failed, it's very important to document for you to not repeat them, or if you start working in another company, you need to have that learning for the whole company. And the fifth and last one is the next steps. If the experiment works, you need to scale the experiment. So this is something that it's very important. So it's not just, okay, so I made the experiment, it worked, I'm very good. You have to scale. How do I do it? How do I replicate with other strategies? How can I replicate it with sales? How can I improve it with my next monthly content strategy? So it's very important to have these 5 steps every time you are doing a growth hacking experiment. Okay? And this is all. I think I passed 5 minutes of my time, but thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you like this presentation. Here's my email.
Thank you, Ms. Gabriela, for delivering all the information you had. And please try to enter your email in the chat box so that somebody can text you directly. Thank you for your valuable time for the presenting of GDMS 2. Thank you, Gabriela.